welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be doing another Dr. McDougall video. We're getting into the Halloween spirit, the fall time. So we just finished Thanksgiving and I have all of my Thanksgiving things still out because until November 1st it's going to be all pumpkins and that kind of thing. But yeah, so Thanksgiving was great, really nourishing, yummy food. And today we are going to be talking about more of the starch solution recipes. I'm still going through a lot of the books that I have. I think I have like 7 books. I literally thought I had like 2, maybe 3. And then that prompted me to try to start making some of these recipes because I'm like, I have a lot of recipe books. Like maybe I need to start looking at some of Dr. McDougall's recipes and making them. But yeah, these books have been really helpful because there's a lot of quick and easy recipes. They're like no fuss. I do like how there's very few ingredients required, which is how I normally cook. You guys know me, I like my fuss-free cooking. I like really quick and easy meals. So if you're not familiar with Dr. McDougall, he did pass away, but his website is still running and the community is still thriving even though he has passed away. He left a legacy and he was all about eating a high carb and low fat diet. He helped a lot of people lose a lot of weight. He helped a lot of people get really healthy. The thing is, a lot of people fall off things because they feel like they're being starved. They don't have enough, food on their plate. And then they turn to unhealthy things. So his way of eating, his approach was eat as much as you want, but these types of foods. And then the foods to avoid, he would explain, like oils. You don't want to have oils. If you're going to have fat, make it natural fat like avocados, but again in moderation if you are trying to lose weight. So yeah, that was basically how he told people, to eat, and a lot of people thrived on this type of diet, including myself. I really found a lot of inspiration with his meals and his ideas around food and what to have versus things to avoid, because they do make a lot of sense. The only thing that I do now is I incorporate a little more protein because I am so much older now. I feel like it's important because I have a history of bad bones in my family and just like a lot of issues. It's important for me to have just a little bit more protein. I'm not going protein crazy, but I am having a little more protein than I used to. When I look back at some of the meals that I had, they were really lacking protein, and I was already, like in my 30s and late 30s. Things start changing. You start to go into perimenopause, usually around like 35, 36 typically these days. And I didn't have any symptoms until after 40 of perimenopause, but then it hit me like a ton of bricks around, I would say like maybe 42. And then, yeah, like 42, there were some signs. And then 43, definitely I was in perimenopause. And sorry. Yeah, so like I am in my 40s now and I have to be careful about, tweaking my diet just to suit my needs at this current moment in my life. So the only thing I would say with these recipes is I do find that they're a little bit bland. For me, again, I'm coming from a place where I don't have a complete taste. Like my taste buds are like altered. Again, because I had COVID, I had Delta. I lost my no taste at all, no smell for like almost 5 months. And then they said that it wouldn't come back. It did, but it's still not 100%. So I always get people to try my recipes. I'm always wondering if I'm over seasoning things because I can't taste things appropriately. So I don't know if it's a me thing. So I have to add extra seasoning because I can't taste the stuff. Or if it's just like they're quite bland and you need a little more pizzazz and seasoning. Again, you can always customize the recipes. It's not the end of the world, but that's the only thing I would say I customize. And I've been trying to stay true to the recipes so that I can actually say that I'm doing the recipes, because I find when people say I'm following this recipe, but then they change like a million things, well, then it's not the recipe. It's idea of the recipe. You're using that as an inspiration, but it's not really the recipe. So I'm trying to stay very true to the recipe, and then once I make it, I can decide if I want to make it like that or if I want to make my version of it. So, but seasoning, yeah, I definitely had to add a little bit more. The only recipe that I found that I did not and actually had to take out seasoning was a curry powder in the pumpkin recipe a couple videos back. It was a little bit too much for me, even with my, you know, loss of taste. So yeah, that was the only recipe. Other than that, I do have to add a little sprinkling more of something or more herbs instead of the, you know, like spices, that kind of thing. So yeah, let's get into today's recipe. And then I'm just going to show you like my quick idea of a starch solution type of dinner. Yeah, starch solution dinners are really easy because you just basically pick a main starch. So in this video, it's going to be potatoes because I am making potatoes a star of the show. And then you are going to put non-starchy veggies with it. So yeah, like it's very, very simple. Okay, I just have some red potatoes here, and they're really big actually. I've never actually seen them this big. Usually they're smaller in the grocery store in bags, but that's okay. So I do have a few more on the side that I started washing. So I'm going to be making my Portuguese pimenta potatoes, and that is going to be the start of my meal tonight. Okay, so just wash them, and then I'm going to pop them into the boiling water. And I do like to pierce them with a knife a few times. That way all of the flavor goes into the potatoes and they get nicely cooked with the pimenta sauce. Okay, this is the recipe book that I am using today. The Healthiest Diet on the Planet by, of course, Dr. McDougall and Mary. So I am doing the Easy Mayan black beans. So that is the recipe that I'm using in the book, and it's page 206 in the book. So this is the salsa that I'm using. This is the best salsa in my opinion. It's the Costco salsa. It has a little bit of a kick to it, so if you don't like spice, you might not like it. These are the organic black beans that we get in bulk from Costco as well, so 2 cans of these. And then peaches and cream corn. This is the only frozen corn the grocery store had, so that's what I got. And yeah, this is just my Portuguese pimenta sauce, homemade. So that's that. Yeah, very, very simple ingredients. The 2 cans are in here, but I have to try to find the lid for this pot. It's probably buried somewhere. So yeah, I like this pot. It is super non-stick. It is a really good size. It's kind of small. It cooks everything so well and so quickly. So yeah, let me find the lid because I think I'm going to need it for the recipe. It says to cover it after, so let's see. Okay, so it's just coming to a boil, and then I have these guys on. I have my salsa, so I'm going to pop that in as well, and then the corn. Okay, so let's get, should we put the light on? Okay. Add my salsa. Again, this is my favorite salsa. So, so good. Let me just take my handle this way. Okay. This is kind of a small pot for this, but my other ones are quite large, so it's either small or really big. Okay, I think it'll work. Then I'm going to do the corn. Okay, and the frozen corn. So I'm going to top my potatoes with this, but this would be really nice on rice as well. We usually have rice. I'm more of a rice person. But it's going to be a potato day today. So I feel like this is a really good high protein and high fiber addition. You can just top it, you know, like top whatever your starch is. This would be great on sweet potatoes too, I feel like. So this might be a staple, actually. These Mayan black beans. So now I'm gonna bring it to a little bit of a boil, not like super hot, but then I'm gonna cover it up and let it do its thing for a few minutes. So his recipe says that if you want at the very end, once you've cooked it all, you're going to just put a 1/4 cup of cilantro on. But I don't have any. I just have parsley. I have all the kinds of parsley, but no cilantro. That's already done for the year, so I'd have to buy it. Sorry, the sounds of Toronto. Dogs barking, cars going by, you know, city life. But anyway, yeah, so going to let this get a little hotter, cover it up, and then it says cook it for 12 minutes, so I'm gonna do that. Okay guys, so that is it for this really simple and easy dinner. I think it's easy for anybody to pull together really quickly, and I love how there's leftovers. This is something that you can definitely eat on rice. Like I said, I definitely will be making this recipe again and topping my rice with it. Really high protein, really high fiber, and very nutritious. So you cannot go wrong with this. I really like the parsley in it, but if you have cilantro, then obviously go with that and follow the recipe. I'm really glad that I'm looking through these cookbooks now, getting some ideas and some inspiration from Dr. McDougall. I'm really enjoying his recipes. So yeah, that is it for this quick and easy recipe. If you guys wanted the recipe for my Portuguese potatoes, I do have them probably a few times throughout the channel in different recipe videos, but definitely the Portugal videos will have something like this in it, so check those out. So I really like this recipe. I'm glad that I found this in one of the cookbooks as well. I find that it's really good as a dip, but it's really, really exceptional as a spread as well. The thicker you make it, obviously, the better spread it's going to be for sandwiches and whatnot. But I really liked it. It's very customizable as well, so you can adjust the seasonings according to what you prefer. But I tried to follow the recipe as much as I could. I did add a little bit extra seasoning because I found it a little bit bland. I'm not going to lie. I put some more hot sauce in. I put extra cumin because I found it was just not enough. I needed a little more oomph, and I also sprinkled a little bit of my sea salt in it because my blood pressure is really low and I do need to add a little bit of salt in my diet. So that is what I do. And yeah, it's like I said, it turned out really well and I really enjoy the recipe. So definitely, this is definitely something I would make again. And like I said, it's a really good spread because you can jazz up your sandwiches with this, and it's really high protein and high fiber because of those beans. So this spread turned out really creamy, really delicious. It is so, so nice. I really like this consistency. So you can store it in the fridge. I just put it in this glass container, and then when I need it, I just take it and use it for various recipes. So one of my favorite dinners is just wraps, either kale or collard wraps. So that's what I did for this dinner. I do have my own collard greens growing in the backyard. I have them growing like trees right now. These are the Portuguese ones. They're a little bit smaller, I would say, than the typical collard leaves that I have growing right now. But they're really, really tasty and super, super nutritious. So I'm really lucky I can just cut them in the backyard. I just load them up with potatoes that were pre-cooked from the pressure cooker. It's really handy to have them cooked on hand. That way you can pull together any meal really quickly. Either potatoes or rice on hand always is a great idea. And then I really like to put the spread on just to bulk up my wraps. That way I'm not hungry like an hour later. The beans really bulk you up and you're going to feel really full and satisfied. So I like to put that on with the potatoes, and then I add some herbs. Whatever herbs I have fresh from the garden is what I use. Usually it's parsley. And then if I have bell peppers, my favorite is just to cut them into strips and add that in as well. But any veggie that you have on hand that you don't want to waste, that you want to use up, will work really well in these wraps. So yeah, that is my really healthy and nutritious, but yet very filling dinner.